Raise your hand if someone has ever told you something along the lines of, at first, I thought you were mean, but you're actually pretty cool. Okay, now raise your hand if you have ever initially judged someone and been wrong. Well, as Miss Norbert from Mean Girls would say, it seems like there's been some girl on girl crime here, or as we might say, member on member. Every day, assumptions are made about individuals based on their outer appearance. We've all heard the saying, never judge a book by its cover, but do we actually stop and take that into consideration on a daily basis? Is judgment the first thing that comes to mind when people pass us in the school hallways or when meeting someone for the first time? Now, I'm going to tell you guys about my absolute best friend. This girl has been by my side through thick and thin since the 7th grade. No matter how big or small what I was going through was, she was always there to lend a hand or offer a pick-me-up. She has this smile that can change anyone's mood and light up an entire room. Last year, our graduating class voted on what we call senior personalities. You know, the ones that get a cringy picture in the yearbook like, most likely to succeed. Well, my best friend was voted as the friendliest girl in our entire class because no one could deny the happiness she never failed to impose on those around her. Fast forward to our first semester of college now. Like I said, we've been best friends since the 7th grade. So when I had to tell my best friend and now roommate that I was missing all of Welcome Week for Goodwill Tour, oh, she was not happy. She told me she would spend the entire week moping in our room because she didn't know anyone and she couldn't just go out there and make friends. But I challenged her to make at least one friend while I was away. Sure enough, when I returned, she had made an entire army of amazing friends who all share our same love of God. They told me how much they already loved her and could not wait to become closer friends throughout our years at LSU. Now, I always knew she could make as many friends as she pleases because she's just that awesome. But where was that confidence in herself? Even as her best friend, I do not fully know the person she is. I had no idea the internal battles she was facing on a daily basis because she hid them so well behind that beautiful smile she always wore. One day I was rummaging through our drawers looking for a command strip when I stumbled upon a small notebook. I began to read and my heart sank into my stomach. These weren't class notes. They were notes she could use to drown out the doubt she had about herself. I felt worse and worse with each line. They said things such as, "You can do this," "You will pass," and the worst of all, "You are beautiful." You see, on the outside, she was this perfect picture of confidence, with her head held high and uncontrollable laughter. But I realized she does not feel this way about herself on the inside. I began to think back to moments when she might have shown signs of this lack of confidence in herself. And so many memories where I simply overlooked her came rushing back. She would come back from class and tell me how much she hated to look at her body in the mirror, but I just brushed her off as being dramatic. And then I remembered something my mother told me about my best friend. One day, she laid down with my mother and cried. She cried because she does not believe she is beautiful enough for someone to love her one day. And that really hurt for me to hear. All those beautiful moments she has in public are not a representation of the thoughts running through her mind. Now, I told you about my best friend, but there's someone even closer to me who struggles with the being perfect mentality. Me. Ever since middle school, I have been these smarty pants with her whole life planned out and all her ducks in a row. However, there were times where the only people who knew what I was truly feeling were myself and God. Sitting alone in your room and trying to understand why everything in your life seems to be falling apart could not be easy for anyone. My perfectionist attitude convinced me that no one could know the imperfections in my family. I thought I had to remain strong because my family needed some strength and my reputation could not be shifted at all. I enjoyed being a well put together person and did not want anything to come in between me and every victory I could get my hands on. I thought I had to remain that strong and independent person that everyone thought I was, no matter what difficulties I was facing. Every day, people do what my best friend has been doing for years. And maybe some of you are feeling the same way right now. Do you put on a front to keep your true thoughts and feelings from the rest of the world? Even the people closest to someone struggling may never know the doubt they face in that mirror every single day. Perhaps this is because the world has made it easy to place labels on people. They fear that by opening up, their label might look something like this one. Haven't we all heard about how keeping things bottled up is toxic? Yet people are making a conscious effort every day to hide themselves from the world, and I know it's got to be exhausting, faking it 24/7. What we see and hear on the outside may not be the true story or feelings of those around us. We may never know some of our closest friends or even family members for their true selves. People hide behind these masks because that's what they think the rest of the world deserves to see. But what can you do to make them see their true value? Why do we think it is wrong to be broken, bruised, or hurt? Feelings and stories are how we connect and share bonds with the people who one day become our friends. Struggling is not something that affects only one person at a time. People are surrounded with problems big and small in their lives every day, and no one should think they are alone. We need to stop hiding our emotions and heartache from the world and let others help us through the storm, because that Christian friend group has shown my best friend and I that it's okay to be vulnerable. Let's kick judgment to the curb and learn to love others as we go. It's time to throw out the lies and fake smiles. It's time to stop bottling up and start sharing. And it's time to be more than just the parts of you that are perfect. Because Louisiana FFA, it's time to embrace every single thing about you.